Last time we discussed Demoreels and what we would want to do in order to find Demoreels. In order to use as a reference so that we could build our own Demoreel towards a goal of a job. Specifically in animation is what I'm focused on. However, this can be applicable for any situation. I've helped people in architecture and law and a variety of other areas coming up with game plans for achieving their goals. And so we'll be using Demoreels as an example for this, but just know that this is applicable in other areas of life. I prepared a couple of Demoreels that I'd use as reference. Last time I talked about how, if I wanted to find environment artists, I'd go online and go to some place like IMDb and find a bunch of Demoreels. In this case, I'm going to utilize my own Demoreel as one example. And then I have a couple others that I will also utilize. So we'll start with mine. This is a Demoreel from the time I was in school when I got my first job in the industry at Bluesky Studios. So we just watch through it, see what we see, and kind of start to break that down. So here I can see that it's going to be 53 seconds long. Have some information at the bottom. It's kind of moving fast, showing a bunch of stuff. Has some artwork coming up. Has some wireframes on the models, showing the artwork again, showing the model in context, and then showing the context of what it was made for. Here, artwork, showcasing, doing procedural modeling, artwork, showcasing the result of using those trees to build a forest, and then the context. So this is a pattern. So a couple other things I noticed from this is it has name, very clear, what they're looking for, year. You don't need the year, but sometimes it's useful to give to people as they want to know that you're giving them something recent. And sometimes recruiters will see that you gave them an old reel and ask you, do you have anything more up to date? I do, but I'm not going to show that for today. And then it has contact information. Sweet. That's really brief at the beginning, but that's where we start. Where we see it before we hit play, that's what we see. And then as we go through, it says property of Bluesky for training purposes only. That's a burn-in that was required by Bluesky. And then it says the name of the studio that is at. Something at 4 weeks, Houdini, talk about what I was using. It continues to show kind of progress of that, plots, building assignment, window tool, setting patterns, etc. Then I switch here, talking about what it is, what program I used, and leaving the artwork up for reference in most of these cases for comparison. Okay, so that is my demo reel. So now you can go and find, there were a couple other people that I went and found. I like their stuff. They're environment artists. First notice that I just go to their website and immediately this just starts playing. Starts off with their information also. Immediately goes into showing me what they're working on. Down here, it tells me it's procedural placement of debris, number of assets, instances, contact information is here, property of Bluesky Studios. Showing it in context. After showing build, that's concept art. Showing the build. Showing the final frame. This is very similar. This one, I don't see a way for me to like move around in it. So I would like to kind of zoom through it, but I can't really. But it kind of continues to do that. I don't know how long it's going to be. But let's see. Okay, so yeah, you see that there's a couple of things that are very similar, including the same property of Bluesky Studios. He's consistently showing down here what he's trying to show you, and he's discussing scale and number of assets. So he's able to handle a lot of things to build the environment, and then it ends with his contact card again. So that's kind of similar. It's a little bit longer, but that guy is a senior level environment artist. This guy's 3D generalist, lead, 20 years experience. Take a look at what his looks like. So we're going to see that his is 5 minutes. He's talking about what he's using. He's talking about what he did. I'll jump around. Shows final frame. He's mostly showing final frame. He's showing that he worked on Kung Fu Panda. He's worked on some other things. So his is a little bit longer. As I look at these three, there's a lot of things that are the same, and that is useful to be aware of, because those things are probably the things that are important. Now, I separately already know that those things are important, but I could do this also for doing concept art or some other area, because if you see the same thing in multiple places, it is likely that those things are what recruiters are wanting. There's a thing called survivorship bias. The people who are successful, the people who have jobs, have either lucked out or they've done something by choice or happenstance that was correct. And so in this case, you'll see that at the beginning starts with very legible what his name is, his contact information, and what role he's looking for or has participated in. So what the demo reel is going to be about. And then in this one, it's not showing any of the progress pieces. This one's only showing final frame. The other two were showing progress pieces. And so that's something that's of note. So it's not necessarily needed that you show progress pieces, but if you have them, that could be a useful thing. And so as I'm looking at this, and now that I'm going to look at this from my frame of, I need to make some demo reel new piece in order to improve my likelihood of getting hired in the future. And so I noticed buildings. Antelmo had a bunch of buildings. He had a bunch of forests. He had a bunch of grass and things like that. He scattered a bunch of things. Giuliano did the same. He talked about he was doing dunes. He was sculpting. So he focused more on sculpting, but he did some terrain sculpting over procedural. He's got kind of rocky terrain. He's got sand. He's got forest. He's got more stylized. As I'm looking at this and remembering what Antelmo's was, there's a couple things that stand out. One, it is nice to be able to jump around. It's nice to be able to know where I'm at, because Antelmo's was not 5 minutes. But when I saw this one's 5 minutes, I was able to jump through and be like, okay, well, I'll have 5 minutes to just like sit around and see how this is going. So that's something that I've now internalized. I want to make sure that my demo reel, however I present it to people, they're able to jump around. Secondarily, I look at, let's go back to my demo reel that I shared. Let's see. So at the beginning, I didn't start off with concept work. I showed it later. Okay, so I got concept work. I'm trying to show it in comparison to that, showing a build style. Eventually, at the time, there wasn't final frame, so eventually being able to add final frame would be great. But that's all kind of like cityscape stuff. And then here I have a couple of like normal models. Then here I have some more foresty things. And so whenever I look at this compared to what the other two had, I start to think about, okay, well, what types of roles will I be needed in? If I'm an environment artist, what types of things are people going to be hiring for? I think Giuliano's does a really good job of showing like a large breadth of what you get hired as an environment artist for. So you can do like cities, like different types of towns, different set extension for forested things, snowy plains, mountains, this kind of like more mystical environment. And so when I look at mine, I think that it could use a more in-depth forest, something that has a lot more assets. It could use something that I sculpted, because nothing, well, I had a little bit of sculpts, but nothing at the level that like Giuliano had. Or I could go into scatter, like doing heavy amounts of scatter. So the things that I was doing were pretty light numbers of scatter, and maybe I could extend what I'm building into something much larger scale and more detailed. And yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking about is, okay, well, I want to find something then for my demo reel that I can build from. The demo reel that I had was like 53 seconds, so that's a little bit shorter than both of these people, but they have been in the industry for like 15, 20 years, and so that's understandable that they have a lot more experience. So it's not necessary that I get a lot more, but it would be nice to have something that's a bit more fleshed out, like fully fleshed out compared to what I had. So then what I do is I take that, make note of, in Giuliano's, there's some audio playing. In mine, there's none. And in Telma's, there's none. There's no sound being played. Ultimately, demo reels are going to be listened to on like a phone. I have monitors here, so I'm looking at them through monitors. But that's not the most typical way for people to be looking at demo reels. As I've looked to hire different people or give feedback to people, generally I just have my phone with me. And sometimes my iPad, which is a little bit bigger, but you want to make sure that whenever people are looking, they can see it at about this scale and still get a gist of what you're saying. They might later look at it on their computer, but I can still read this as modeling, sculpting, texturing, etc. So you want to make sure that you use large font. That's another thing that I'm noticing is the font size. There's this use of like single words instead of full-on sentences about what they did, kind of bullet points, and it changes per shot. And so those are all things that I can use so that if somebody is pausing on your demo reel, they're able to figure out what it is that you're trying to convey. Now, the next step then is, now that I kind of have that sense, I kind of felt out what I should be pursuing in order to make a better demo reel or make my first demo reel. It's like if I have nothing, I look at these and yeah, it could be overwhelming. But just remember that like each of these is a film and they probably spent several months at the very least and maybe several years working on the projects. And so it's okay to not have all of this. And again, I was hired at Bluesky with this reel, so I didn't have all that. I had like some like partially fleshed out thing here and some like one piece here, another piece there. So the expectations are going to be different, trying to burgeon into an industry versus be in the industry as a lead or senior. And so it's important not to get too caught up in trying to match exactly what you're seeing in these demo reels, but just be aware of like what your goal is. Your goal is to be able to have something like Giuliano's where he has so much stuff that he can't contain it in 1 minute. And like so much of it is different. Like it's not just a whole bunch of the same thing. Each of these sets is telling a bit different of a story about who he is and what he's capable of. Same with Antelmo. Each of the things he was showing tell you a little bit different about who he is and how he's going to help your company.